Hey there, this is a very special video to me. These are two of my top 10 favorite antiderivatives of all time. Whenever I teach them in class, I just love sharing them with my students, and I can't wait to share them with you, my student as well. So let's jump into this thing. So ln x, the natural log of x, that's it. You might be like, why would we use by parts with this? Right? Because we don't have a product here, and that's essentially right. We don't have a product. But when you look at this thing, what's the only thing we know how to do calculus-wise with the natural log of x? We only know how to find the derivative of it. And there's only two integration techniques we know where the derivative is involved. U substitution, that's not going to work because letting u equal ln x is 1 over x as a derivative, and there's no 1 over x there, so that's out. And integration by parts. So in this case, this is the rare time where you actually let u equal ln x, even though the derivative doesn't get simpler. And that's why I put that, when u does not get simpler. dv, kind of strange, is just going to be 1 dx. Interesting. So it's not a cyclical function. So du, its derivative, will be 1 over x dx. And the antiderivative of dv dx is going to equal to x. It's nice. And you might be like, how does that get better? Well, watch what happens. It's a beautiful thing. This becomes the product, right? U times v. So that's equal to u times v minus the integral of v du. Oh, isn't that nice? V du. Look what happens. We now get something that we can integrate. So x ln x minus the integral of 1 dx. And what is the integral of 1 dx? It's 1. So you get x ln x minus, well, sorry, the integral of 1 dx is not 1. The integral of 1 dx is x. I misspoke. How dare I? And then, of course, you have plus c. That's it. Now I want to do a check on this one because it's just a beautiful thing. So how do you check your work? Well, we check our work by taking the derivative, right? So I'll do d by dx of x ln x minus x plus c. And we want to know, does it equal to ln x? If it does, then that's the antiderivative of this. So we use the product rule here. That's first times the derivative of the second, is 1 over x, plus the second function, times the derivative of the first, minus 1. Derivative of a constant is 0. Watch what happens. X over x is 1, plus ln x times 1 is itself, ln x, minus 1. The 1's cancel. You get ln x. Isn't that beautiful? Ah, I love it. All right, on to the next one. That one's just great. The next one, really sweet. Two cyclical functions is what I call this. How do we deal with it? Well, integration by parts, the reason why we're going to use it here is because you've got a product of two functions, neither of which will work well with u substitution. So we're really just kind of up the creek without a paddle unless we think of by parts. Now in this case, it does not matter which function you use as u and which as dv, but I'm going to give a suggestion. The easier function to derive and the easier function to integrate should be u and dv respectively. So I think it's easier to integrate e to the x than it is cosine x. Therefore, dv is going to be equal to e to the x dx. It's okay if you pick cosine as cosine dx as dv. That's fine. V will be e to the x. Now, as far as u goes, you have cosine x. Let's see what happens here. The derivative of that is minus sine x. So let's use integration by parts, right? So as we do integration by parts here, it's u times v. So it's equal to u times v would be cosine x e to the x. Flip that around here just to make it look pretty. Minus the integral of v du. Well, that's minus that goes into here, causing this to be a plus. And that's going to be e to the x sine x. Oh, it's almost like that's where we started. Oh, man, and that's what this is equal to. Okay, how are we going to deal? Well, here's what we do. We do it again. Right, this one's kind of gnarly, but we do it again. Don't let u equal e to the x and dv equal sine x, because if we do that, you'll peel back what we just did. We'll end up where we started, right? So we'll end up like in a not so hot spot. Keep going in the same direction, meaning we're going to pick dv to be e to the x and du to be sine x. Sorry, u to be sine x. So u is equal to sine x. Du is therefore equal to cosine of x dx. dv we select to be e to the x dx. And the antiderivative of that, e to the x. Okay, now I'm going to throw down something here. I'm going to throw down this original integral, just to remind us that that's what we're equal to. E to the x cosine x dx has now been manipulated to equal this. Don't forget about the e to the x cosine x. That's still part of the manipulation. This is what we're applying the by parts to. So that'll be u times v. It's plus e to the x sine x, and it's plus because of that sign that changed, minus the integral of v du. Oh, doggy. I don't know why I just said that. You might look at this and be like, oh, we're just going in circles. Are we? I think we actually have some good stuff going on here. Let me show you what I mean. That is the original antiderivative. This is minus that same value. So if you want to think of it as variables, that might help. So you could think of this as I, and call that integral I. You have minus I. Couldn't we just add that I value to both sides? Couldn't I add I, which is all of this, to both sides of the equation? I mean, after all, it's variable, right? Pretty cool. And so you'd get 2 of what we started with, which is great because we can solve for that. So that's 2 e to the x cosine x dx, and that's equal to, look what we have left, the e to the x cosine x plus e to the x sine x. Nice. Let's just pause and look and see what just happened there. We got the original problem in our manipulation on the right side, but it was minus that original problem. So just like you would solve if you had like x equals 4 plus 9 minus x, you would add x to both sides of the equation, right? That's what we would do, and that's exactly what we did here. So it's the same thing as basic old algebra we've done here. And then what you do once you add x to both sides, you divide both sides by 2 to get x alone. Simple enough. So we're going to do nothing different here. We're going to divide both sides by 2. So you'll get the integral of e to the x cosine x dx, which is what we originally wanted, is equal to, and I should add a plus c at the end of this, is equal to e to the x cosine x plus e to the x sine x all over the 2 that we divided by. And then you can take the plus c and put it out there because c over 2 is still just the constant. Isn't that awesome? So when do you know to use this strategy? Anytime you have 2 cyclical functions like this multiplied together, go for this strategy. It is not simple to recognize until you've done it the first time. And then after that, you know when to stop using integration by parts once you've gotten minus the original antiderivative. Then you can solve for that, treating it like it's a variable. Oh, beautiful. I wish we could do it more. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace.